because we're hearing that Germany is now imposing an embargo on Russian oil. Germany currently receives 1/3 of its oil and natural gas from Russia. Germany is also set to propose a new strategy on dealing with Beijing. Really, these 2 points, Shravan, if you could throw more light on how Germany is now planning to deal as far as Russia is concerned, and the new proposal with Beijing, what would that be about?
Well, in fact, I would like to just read out something that the president's advisor had to say with regards to role of Germany. In fact, he says Chancellor Olaf Scholz trying to justify this indecisiveness offers to divide ordinary Russians and Putin as the author of the war. In Europe, this may become a false trend, because officially 71% of Russians support the war and mass killings of Ukrainians. Now, let me put this into perspective. If you remember, there was this trip that was undertaken by the German Chancellor before the invasion began. He came to Kiev. He had a meeting with President Zelensky. He flew off from Kiev. He went to Moscow. He had a meeting with President Putin. Germany initially wanted to be seen as someone who's trying to mediate, someone who's trying to prevent this war from taking place. But over a period of time, what's happened is that somewhere down the line, the relation between Ukraine and Germany soured to a certain extent. Look at the comments that have been made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs here in Ukraine. He said that, yes, we certainly welcome the decision that has been taken by Germany as far as their defense policy is concerned. Because remember, earlier, Germany was not willing to even part with any sort of ammunition to Ukraine. And there was a mark changed as far as their policy is concerned, and they were willing to provide ammunition to Ukraine, which was welcomed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But you had a very curt statement that was basically made by the minister. He said that we welcome, but it is way too late. Thereafter, things certainly changed, because in terms of the fact that Germany still had their deal on with Russia as far as getting the oil products, and that did not really go down well here, saying that on the one hand, Germany is only looking forward to what President Zelensky calls only business. Germany is only interested in business. That's what President Zelensky had to say. So one would say that this was a very strong statement that was made by President Zelensky as far as Germany's role is concerned. Now, the reason why Germany is also perhaps finding itself in a sticky situation is primarily because their dependence on the oil, or for that matter, the Nord Stream that you're looking at, and they do not want a situation where they find themselves in a difficult position to try and cater to their energy demands. And that's the same thing perhaps you're looking at the role that was India was also playing with regards to buying crude oil from Russia at a much cheaper rate. Keeping in mind that, remember, we have a huge dependence on oil exports, oil imports rather, and that is from multiple countries altogether. And this, as the United States of America points out, this is not a violation of any of the sanctions. But again, that was also a sarcastic statement that was made by the spokesperson of the White House, who said that India should know with whom they are standing, and more importantly, how they would be viewed when the history is actually scripted. So what we are looking at right now, for Ukraine, is that they are largely seen as someone who's still very dependent on the West. They're hoping that the West would be able to protect themselves. But remember, they are no longer in that illusion. They know that this is a fight that they have to fight. They have to fight it alone. They are not going to perhaps get the kind of assistance that they were really looking at. But right now, what they are looking at is for their own national interest. That is, to try and protect their own territory. For that, they're willing to go the extra mile, and that's exactly the reason why the kind of dialogue that we are constantly seeing over the last several weeks. President Zelensky on a daily basis, we have seen the kind of effort that he has put in to speak to world leaders, rally their support that he needs right now. So that, remember, for a country like Ukraine, which is just the size of Texas, to fight a country like Russia, they certainly need some sort of guarantees. And that's exactly what they're basically working towards.
All right, Sharon, we wait and watch how that develops. For the moment, we'll play out this 1 minute report. The theater of Mariupol that had over 1,000 civilians taking refuge, and it was completely bombarded by the Russian troops. Italy has now offered to rebuild it. Let's take a look.